Let's have a quick chat with the team that worked on Vario Homes and understand the ideation behind the latest residential tower at Karle Town Centre. Hello, Mr. Sanoj. And hi, Mr. Abhay. How are you both doing today?
We're doing great.
Thank you.
That's excellent. So, Mr. Abhay, tell us about how the idea behind Vario Homes came about.
Well, space is something that we all crave for, and it's the context to its immediate surrounding that defines its use. Without drastically trying to disrupt the norm, we have tried to envision spaces within Vario Homes that allow for various possibilities and ensure that it is progressive. The design is characterized by a strong sense of layering that allows the residents an immersive experience and has been developed from the inside out. Having identified the fixed spaces like the kitchens and the bathrooms, which have been ergonomically designed and standardized across the units, we have looked at designing the remaining habitable spaces in a manner which allows flexibility for the end user to meet their requirements, while designing spaces that are livable, functional, and exciting by creating a sense of expanse. This feeling of expanse we've been able to achieve by playing with depth and volume, by allowing for flexibility in terms of allowing reconfiguration of otherwise defined spaces, and also by creating a visual sense of expanse by having large and well-located fenestrations to the exterior.
Well, that's brilliant. So, Mr. Sanoj, what's the big deal about these flexi walls?
So when the design had a USP which said that we could actually break down spaces and make it flexible and make it progressive for each and every user, the challenge for the team was to how to exemplify this, how to make it happen. So of course, all hands on the deck, we went into an engineering spree to get to a solution, which I'm very happy to show you now. So what happens is, the first and foremost thing is basically to try and create a floor plan that allows you to do and enjoy these flexible spaces. So the first idea is to make sure that the rooms are first planned to be next to each other as a single large room, as you can see right now, which you can use for hosting large parties and large gatherings. But once you've decided to have a private space, it's much easy. You just have to bring down these panels. These panels are basically about 40 kgs each, which is easily movable on these horizontal tracks that are placed on the ceiling. If you take notice, we have carefully avoided any floor tracks. The idea is we are very much conscious about hygiene and health. Floor tracks are normally seen as sources of perpetuating dust and dirt. Now, once you close these panels from one side, you have a stack of panels on the other side as well, which comfortably move on these rails which are on the false ceiling. And after which, you have one of the last panels which operates like a sliding door. And this is the one that you use to probably make an entry and exit back into your room once you have collapsed and segregated this room, which can therefore play multiple roles and multiple functions. To talk about these panels are made of aluminum frame and they've got a plywood and other backing material. There is a patented material inside which allows for the reduction of noise levels up to in excess of 40 dB. And the another advantage we want to offer to our customers is that while it comes with its own pre-factory finishes, you are allowed to customize the finish by applying probably wallpapers or laminates, which can suit your interior design. So it is highly customizable from the aesthetic point of view. That's the deal with the Flexi Walls.
Well, that's very brilliant. So, Mr. Sanoj, are there any other special details about the apartment we need to know?
Not one, but many. And I would say that Abhay would be the right person to probably throw more light on it.
Well, we're actually in one of my favorite places right now, the open kitchen with the adjacency to its dining area. Normally, for an apartment of this size, it always caters to a dining space with a six-seater table. But here, the manner in which it's been designed allows us to provide the flexibility of having an 8-seater dining table, thus providing the end user the option. And as Sanoj pointed out about the flexible walls, one of my favorite areas too, it allows for numerous possibilities. It allows the user to use the same space in various ways over time. For me, which is one of the paramount features, was while I spend time at the kitchen, I could keep an eye on my little one who's playing around and not have to worry. But that is just one set example, and I'm sure there are different ways and people could use the same. Also, as we go down to the children's room, you notice that it's been designed in a manner that allows variations in the furniture solution. Here, we see a single bed with a study table, but the same space can be reconfigured to have 2 single beds or a queen-size bed, as the user would require. And here, as we walk into the master bedroom, beyond the wardrobe and the designated area for the bed, you see we've been able to tuck in a bay area, which just adds to the expansive space and allows the user to use it in multiple ways. It could be just as putting a lounge chair for his morning cup of tea, or creating a reading corner with an inbuilt bookshelf, and thus being able to use it in multiple ways as one would want. Another small detail is that translucent panel that you see out there, which allows that hint of natural light to come in as the curtains are drawn for want of privacy. And also, as you see the entire bay window as well, the windows are large and expansive that allows a large amount of light and ventilation into the space, thus creating that sense of expanse. A lot of care and thought has gone into selecting premium quality fixtures and finishes. You could see out here all the finishes have been thoughtfully selected for the space and the size, thus making it as expansive as possible for the bathrooms as well. And also out here, you can notice the high quality tiles that have been selected.
Thank you, Mr. Abhay. That's really exciting. And Mr. Sanoj, can you tell me more about the common spaces and the thought behind all the amenities?
While Abhay has explained to you the details of the apartment, extreme care and caution has been taken in putting together the spaces, the flexi-walls and the other facilities. The other important aspect of this entire town center is to make sure that the town center is also master planned and designed to reap benefits of absolute privacy, safety and security. If you notice the apartments that we have in KTC, we normally do not have any apartments on the ground floor. The ground floor is left open as a socializing space. This is one of the key USPs. And while positioning these towers, because they come up in a singular campus of about 60 acres, we've taken care that each of them are positioned strategically so that none of the apartments overlook each other. Now, carrying forward the ideology of space, functionality, and taking care of everyday needs, we should always take cognizance of ideas such as when you walk into the corridor, look at the way we have positioned the doors. The idea was not to have these doors face each other, giving you the most important privacy, which is like not to have a private neighbor. And therefore, you have such an individual existence which is so synonymous with an apartment or a villa. Now come to the corridors. The idea of actually providing large windows is to give you a sense of airiness, light, ventilation. These are things which are very important to make sure that you have a great experience while you are at Vario Home. And even in terms of sizing of these corridors, the location of the windows, the large span windows, these have all been carefully thought through when we are actually putting together Vario Homes. So needless to say, there has been a lot of effort put in while we are actually trying to create a unique experience out of Karle Town Center and each and every component of the town center, including Vario Homes. So right now, let's meet at the other side. See you.
So, Mr. Sanoj, how is the clubhouse at Vario Homes unique?
Vario Homes, like all the other components of Karle Town Center, has been designed on the philosophy of sustainable green. The idea is to expose each of its users to the minutest possibility of engaging with green spaces. Study says that if you are exposed to green, you almost instantly de-stress. An idea which we wanted to pursue almost philosophically into all design components of KTC and especially Vario Homes. In doing so, we ensured that all the amenities and facilities of Vario Homes is designed like an intertwined indoor-outdoor space, thereby making sure that at every moment that you use Vario Homes, you engage at some point in time with an element of nature, an opportunity to de-stress.
Wow, that's exciting. So, how did you manage to integrate the indoor spaces with the outdoor?
This was a great challenge for us. We had to practically deconstruct the facilities of the clubhouse. What we did is that we kind of took a tangential look at how traditional clubhouses are built and kind of thought different. Now imagine most of the spaces, like the table tennis room for example, is usually designed like an enclosed box and you engage your opponent in just a match or a friendly game, whichever it may be. But in this case, especially when it comes to Vario, we ensure that we deconstruct these facilities and basically put them in glass boxes. So what does that mean is that even when you're engaging in a friendly game, you still get opportunity to interact with nature, almost making it a possibility to actually de-stress even while you are engaged in an active sport.
Well, that indeed is an excellent idea. And what about the 34th floor? I heard there's something special there.
We have always constantly looked at how to engage people on sky rises with nature. So one of the greatest deconstruction of an idea is to actually further fragment the clubhouse, take a couple of those engaging social spaces and put them on the terrace spaces. But in just not the terrace, what we did is we actually created a lounge space on the 34th floor. The 34th floor lounge is where you can probably engage yourself in some reading, in some late night work from the office that you need to finish. But while you accomplish all these tasks, you can also have a fresh cup of coffee from the lounge and also do a late night homework without disturbing the members of your family. To add to this, we've also given an opportunity of doing some nature farming right at the terrace, which is an extension of the conservatory. This has been the 360-degree approach that we took in putting together the Sky Lounge on the 34th floor.
Well, that sounds really fantastic. All right, now, could you share something about the landscape?
Well, we should go out and look out for Ravi, who has some great ideas regarding landscape.
Well, Mr. Ravi, it is rare to be able to have a 1-acre forest attached to your apartment building. Isn't that interesting? Can you tell me more about it?
Well, it is very interesting. Not just interesting, it is also very rare that in a real estate project you kind of find this concern for landscape and this kind of quality of engagement that one wants to have with landscape. So if you look at Karle's projects, and in fact part of the brief was that when people come into these spaces, they want to have a seamless experience with the landscape. And that's something which is extremely critical. But also the entire ground floor also kind of is given to the community. And therefore it's kind of loaded with community activities. And then you have the seamless forest, the landscape that connects you as soon as you come in, you're connected with nature. And it tells you something about the nature of this property. Now, there are many interesting arrangements that have happened by virtue of the fact that the terrain, or rather the forest, is actually a gradient. It almost negotiates about 3 to 4 meters of space. And that gradient then actually technically is so resolved that it allows for many things to happen. Interestingly, over space, over height. And so instead of having, let's say, like a normal cycle track that you would have within your compound, you actually generate an adventure cycling motion and movement within this forest. The other interesting thing is that the swimming pool is on the edge of this higher reach, and then it kind of flows down into a lower level. You could actually go down and roll on the grass. You could be in the forest. So it kind of creates a whole range of opportunities to be able to live a more wholesome kind of life around you. And so that's the basic broader idea. Now, let me also speak for a minute about, particularly about the children's area and the children's play. What is very important, we feel, and I think this was part of our dialogue when we started working on this plan, is that the children need to be engaged with nature. They need to be engaged with nature in a substantial way. And I think this forest actually grants that opportunity or creates that opportunity. And it kind of takes away the children from this usual life that they lead now, which is so much driven by the screen, that they're in front of some screen or the other all the time. And I think it's very important for these children because they are the bearers of this environment tomorrow, and they need to understand this environment and engage with it. One of the biggest problems in the city is the disconnect with nature. And I think when projects like these get done, they generate this whole generation of young minds who will be engaged with nature. How do we do that? To do that, you need to generate a huge biodiversity, and therefore the specification of plants, the plant material, some material that would invite the butterflies in, material that is productive that can also invite the birds in, and it creates a whole new environment for yourself. The idea also is that the senior citizens, the younger people who want a relief from their routine life can actually come and literally hide in this forest, which is so much an integral part of your life. And therefore the fundamental idea is to create a more wholesome environment, and an environment that belongs. And you kind of begin to learn to live with nature and yet have all your modern amenities in a city. So that's the basic idea of this whole project.
Thank you, Mr. Ravi Punde, for your insights on the landscape at Vario Homes. Now, let's catch up with Mr. Sudarshan Karle and listen to his thoughts on what it means to live at Karle Town Centre.
When you buy an apartment at Karle Town Centre, actually you're buying a home in an urban oasis. We call it an urban oasis because it's so close to the city, yet tucked away. It's next to a 90-acre Nagavara lake, which will remain green forever. Life is more convenient at Karle Town Centre. You can come home at 6 o'clock in the evening and still catch a movie at 6:30. Or you can take your spouse for an unplanned dinner at the lakeside. You can even leave your kids to play safely at the parks. The time normally spent in traffic can now be well spent with your loved ones. The most important thing about living in the township is that your life is constantly enriched by meaningful experiences with your loved ones.